is red oak, and this spawn is maitake. You can see that the bag is already starting to produce fruit bodies, so this one's a little overgrown, but the mycelium is still totally fine. Chose the larger pieces of oak, and what we're going to do is we will plug each one of these holes that I just drilled, and once we plug the holes, then we will paint melted wax over them. These holes are about 3/4 of an inch deep, and the angle grinder makes this process go a lot faster than a regular drill. And once we plug the holes, we'll put a little melted wax on it, and then we'll stack them on a pallet for about 2 to 3 months. There's 2 different ways you can do the maitake, or hen of the woods, Grifola frondosa, whatever you want to call it. You can stand them up, and you can dig a hole about 6 inches deep, large enough to accommodate the log, and also deep enough to keep the log from tilting over. Or the other way you can do it is you can bury them horizontal on the ground with about 1/3 of the log sticking out. The reason you would do this is because in their natural environment, typically maitake fruit off of logs that are in contact with the ground, off of stumps or big leader roots that come off of really old trees. And so basically what we're doing is we're just simulating their natural environment. And they love that interface of where the soil and the wood meets, which is what most mushrooms like. You'll find a lot of mushrooms on pieces of dead snags like lion's mane and trees. You'll find a lot of things on the edge of 2 different environments, like on the edge of the stream where the water is in the stream bank, or a hard packed pathway, and then where the soil gets soft again, or on the edge of the field and the forest. This process is pretty simple. It's just the inoculation plunger, a little bit of spawn in each hole. And that's pretty much it. You'll do the whole log and then put a little bit of melted wax on it. So this is a slow cooker that you can purchase them brand new for like these smaller ones for like $19 or $20. And so we just dedicated this one to cheese wax. And then we have these wool daubers that are typically used to apply stain to leather. So they're used in leather working, but we use them to wax over the plug holes. So it's very important that you wax over the plug holes for especially sawdust spawn, because the spawn will fall out, or it will dry out very quickly, or insects will come and eat the spawn. So you basically just daub a little bit, just enough to cover the plug holes, and that's pretty much it. And then once it cools off, or once it cools and solidifies, you can then move your logs to a shady location, and we put them on a pallet for 2 to 3 months before we put them in their permanent homes. And like I said, with the maitake, you're going to bury them partially in the ground, either vertical or horizontal. And oftentimes we try to do this right before it rains, because then the rain will water our logs, and it is a step that we don't have to do. Or you can soak the logs beforehand, but it also makes the logs really heavy. And if you're lifting a lot of logs, it's not really that fun if you're trying to lift a lot of heavy, wet logs. I prefer to do it afterwards.